name is Enrique Delamonica. I am the Senior Statistics Specialist in UNICEF working on child poverty and gender equality. Well, that's a difficult question because there are many categories of different types of invisible children. In principle, we talk of invisible children as those which are not usually counted or captured when we do household surveys. But there are two ways to count population. One is the census and the other one is the survey. And in both cases, there are children that are left out. When we do household surveys, there are children that are left out because they do not live in a household. For example, they live in the streets, or they are migrants or children of migrants. In the census, we don't capture sometimes children for other reasons. They may be minorities and they may be excluded. It could be that sometimes families are ashamed if, for example, the children have some sort of disability. The parents may want to hide those children. The other way, that is to count children, is to register their births. And there are different estimates, but some years ago UNICEF estimated around 230 million children whose births were not registered. This means they officially have no home, no country, no identity, no name. And this is equivalent to roughly a third of children under 5 years of age, and those are also invisible children. Well, the implications are as varied as the types of invisible children. The implications, of course, are different for the purpose of measurement. As I was saying, if a third of children under age 5 are not properly counted, we might be thinking that we're making progress on the SDGs. For example, the first SDG, which talks about poverty and specifically singles out multidimensional poverty, which is a topic in which UNICEF works a lot. If we are missing 1/3 of the children under age year 5, then we would think we're making progress in reducing poverty when we're leaving all of those children behind. Another important element to consider in terms of achieving the SDGs and invisible children, besides understanding the different categories, is how to make sure that all those children participate properly in the development process. SDG number 11 talks about urban areas and urban development. One of the main components of the children, of the invisible children, are children living in the streets. They are not properly registered, they are not counted in the census, they are not captured by the household surveys, and children in the streets have different characteristics. Some of them live alone, some of them live with their families. This requires different types of policy engagement. Some of them live in the streets, some work in the streets, and this is a difference. Some of those children actually do have a house, but they spend most of their day, instead of being in school, in the streets, where they are either working, doing petty jobs, or just begging, and of course exposed to all sort of violence and danger and abuse. And in order to achieve SDG 11, we need to deal with these children. And the other element is we need to do more research to understand the causes, the characteristics, the consequences of the lives that all of these types of invisible children live. There are many ways in which we work. Some of the work we do with national authorities, sometimes also with subnational authorities, when the responsibilities, for example, for birth registration falls not at the national level but at the municipal or provincial or state level. We also engage with countries and subnational entities in programming. We also help by providing support when countries engage in the census. We also provide support strengthening administrative data system. All of those elements help to include some of the children who are invisible. Another major area of work, not my area of expertise, but where UNICEF does a lot of work, is on trafficking. A lot of the trafficked children, of course, because they are in illegal networks, they are also invisible, and UNICEF does a lot of work to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. The other one is to promote research, and in collaboration with CROP, UNICEF is launching a call for papers. So scholars, academics, and practitioners throughout the world can convene and have a thorough discussion on how to promote social inclusion and eliminate violence against children and make sure that invisible children are counted and taken care of.